50% of MLAs elected in the past 25 years were men. A recent analysis of the Election Commission data for 150 assembly polls across states and 6 Lok Sabha elections for women's representation in politics has brought out some glaring inequalities. For one of the most resilient parliamentary democracies in the world, with a female population of 662.9 million, India has only had a mere 1,584 women MLAs in the last 25 years, out of a huge total of 21,161 MPs. While women's participation as voters has increased significantly over the years, the proportion of women representatives in the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha continues to remain grossly low in comparison to their male counterparts. The most recent 17th Lok Sabha elections marked a historic high in terms of the number of women parliamentarians in India. At present, India registers an abysmal 14.6% of women MPs, which is still fairly below the global average of 25.5%. In this FII Reports video, we look closely into women's representation in politics and explore the barriers impeding their participation. Inaccessibility of institutions. Election records show that most political parties, though pledging in their constitutions to provide adequate representation to women, in practice give far too few party tickets to women candidates. A study found that a large section of women who do get party tickets have family political connections or are dynastic politicians. Sonia Gandhi from the Congress Party or Mamata Banerjee, the Chief Minister of Bengal, are often seen as the longest running women in contemporary Indian polity. Yet, however important they may be as examples, each has deep ties with the political elite. With normal routes of accessibility limited, women from marginalized backgrounds and lesser social capital are relegated into political oblivion.
When I was growing up, I remember saying I want to be a politician, but there was no one around, a woman who I could say I want to be like her. I don't want to look at history. I really appreciate AOCs and this and that, but where are political leaders around us who I want to be like? We need more women who are role models for our younger generation to be in politics. And there's so much research and data which is saying that if we have women as role models in politics, in STEM, the next generation will get inspired. We are 50% of the population and we deserve that our voice is heard among people on decision-making tables that matter.
Internalized patriarchy and structural challenges. In local governance systems like Gram Panchayat, Panchayat Samitis and Zilla Parishads, there exists a 33% of reservation for women. However, the culture of Sarpanch Pati robs the women citizens of a leader that actually represents them. At a village level, well-off families continue to dominate local politics through every possible effort for the Chaudhar to stay within their families and power within their control. There have been reported cases of seats falling under women reserved categories where women candidates are elected on paper while men of their house yield the power and decisions. Stemming from deep-rooted patriarchy, practices like these defy the whole purpose of reservation, where women sarpanches end up as names on a government list, whereas the ground reality stands in stark contrast from the paperwork reality. The handful of women politicians that are inside the circle are in a manner tamed to fit into the political and social narratives on patriarchal terms. Disagreeing with Nirmala Sitharaman, Mayawati or Dimple Yadav's policies and politics is one thing, but misogynist references such as auntie, tai, bhabhi, didi and behenji are attempts to domesticate women politicians and otherize them from the masculine political space. Societal prejudice. The lack of critical and quality representation of women in key decision-making positions results in women's agenda not getting reflected and addressed in public policies and programs. During cabinet formation, Indian women are commonly allotted ministries which are termed as feminine portfolios. Women and children, information and culture, social welfare that are perceived as relatively less important with fewer resources and reach amongst citizens.
Women are concerned in every single space that how the world moves, how world politics moves, how Indian politics moves. Every aspect of decision making impacts a woman. So I have always believed that why should women be reduced to that particular box, and there's a tick in the box for every government as soon as a woman minister is decided for women and child welfare ministry. I think they can talk finance, they can talk AR, they can talk crypto, they can talk Web3 because it impacts every aspect of their life. Climate change is an important aspect that women can speak about. So those are things which I feel women should be playing in the space and they should not be reduced to say oh, these are only feminist issues. These are not feminist issues. These are issues that concern humanitarian.
It is still widely held in political circles that women candidates are less likely to win elections than men, which leads to political parties giving them fewer tickets. The patriarchal mindset digs deeper with derogatory comments about women in politics, creating rife in the internet. A report by Amnesty International highlighted the shocking scale of abuse that female politicians in India face on Twitter. Sexist remarks are regularly directed at women who contest elections, whether about their clothing, their appearance, or their experience.
Trinamool Congress MPs, Bengali actors Mimi Chakravarti and Nusrat Jahan, both TV and cinema stars, are being massively trolled on social media after the two shared these pictures from their first day in Parliament. This was on their Instagram accounts. The two actors, who've been elected as MPs from West Bengal, were seen posing outside Parliament. The actors were shamed for how they dressed up. Mimi, the Trinamool's Jadavpur MP, posted a photo of hers wearing a white shirt, jeans and a pair of sneakers. Many commented to say this is not a film shooting. Nusrat Jahan, the Trinamool MP from Bashirhat, too shared a similar photo, had to face a similar rebuke and trolling.
The deep-seated roots of patriarchal beliefs in our society that disguise misogyny as respect for sanskar and culture results in hate campaigns against women politicians. In the recent Uttar Pradesh Assembly elections, Congress Party's Hastinapur candidate Archana Gautam was subjected to a vile and derogatory campaign started against her online. From sensational headlines to sexualizing her identity and passing a moral judgment by using pictures from her modeling days, Gautam received unending vilification from the media, opposition and general public in her political debut on issues that were unrelated to her candidature. Women in politics are constantly subjected to humiliation, inappropriate comments, abuse and threats of abuse, making participation and contesting elections extremely challenging.
Anonymity. Men think they can hide behind masks and troll women. Men are attacked for what they have said, what they have done, their opinions about things. Women, when they are attacked, it goes beyond this. It goes to a level where they feel unsafe. It goes to a level where their photographs can be used and morphed. It goes to a level where sometimes she's afraid to come back on social media. And all this needs to change by making sure the cyberspace is more secure for women. So whether we are talking about a complaint redressal system, whether we are talking about the cybersecurity cell we feel comfortable accessing, whether we are talking about shouting out for other women who are going through a trolling experience and standing in solidarity with her.
It may be argued that a significant number of women representatives in India's parliament would have played a crucial concerted role in getting the bill to introduce 33% reservation for women in state legislatures and parliament enacted. However, treating women as a blanket category for reservation would only cause further complications, as the benefits would largely be appropriated by women belonging to political families or the upper strata of society. An intersectional and horizontal approach for women's reservation is crucial to ensure that women from lower economic stratas and marginalized castes and communities do not face further exclusion from contesting elections and sharing political power. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it ahead. And do subscribe to Feminism in India for your dose of desi intersectional feminism.